You are watching the Doctalk Show.
Dr. Joseph Gavin Nyanzi, your host tonight, and tonight we're talking about food and how to make sure that actually the food we take in is safe for you and your family members. Reminding you again about our social media platforms, the Doctalk Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and actually we are airing live now. Please share the link with your family and friends, your old Bs and OGs. Let them come and let's empower ourselves concerning health. And in the studio tonight with me is a public health specialist, Jimmy Osuret, and he's been telling us about food and its safety, and we are continuing. Jimmy, wow, you've talked about the food chain right from the farm, storage, and into our homes. And I was getting a little scared. Is there hope, or actually we stop eating food? Because I'm very, very scared, and I guess somebody watching me there is also scared about food. What is the way forward? For example, I've had a concern about the eggs we consume. You know, probably the nutritionist will tell us the eggs we consume, a big number of Ugandans consume eggs. Every stand, in every town, there's a Rolex stand. You know, how do we make sure that actually we are safe? The eggs, you know, for example, if I consume rice, we can know that this rice is made maybe from barley, picked from barley. How do we follow up the eggs? There are many farms all over the country. How do we make sure that actually these different foods that we take are safe for me and my family?
Thank you for raising up that concern. Indeed, there are issues around preservation of foods. For instance, if eggs are stored poorly, they would be at risk of going bad. Molds would grow on them, and this would introduce foodborne related illnesses. So what's the way forward on this? Issues of food safety need regulation.
Okay.
Issues of food safety need control measures to be put in place. And in Uganda, we have quite a number of systems that can help us with that. For instance, we have the Uganda National Bureau of Standards that is mandated with coming up with standards for food as well as standards for other products, both processed and ready-to-eat foods. So we need to work within this. Additionally, we have the Kampala Capital City Authority, for those that are within Kampala, that has a Directorate of Public Health that has come up with measures on how to regulate food premises. Food premises could be restaurants that supply foods to the public.
Chapati stalls?
Oh, yes. So still on that point of the stalls, before someone establishes a food premise, a stall as an example, they need to get certification from the relevant authority within their area of operation.
Does this really happen?
Oh yes, this happens.
Okay.
And a good example is if you walk into a food establishment, try to look out for a certificate displayed at the entrance, and that is an example that they have been certified.
I'm thinking about the Rolex guy by the roadside. Do they get certification to operate those stalls?
So we have a challenge where we have the makeshift kind of businesses, people trying to find livelihood, people trying to find a way of survival. And you'll notice not all of them are registered. So how do we go about with helping them, given that they also make a contribution to providing food? Much as they do that, we need to ensure that they work within the relevant food safety frameworks.
I've just remembered, at the beginning of COVID, and when we were enforcing the SOPs, people cracked jokes. I saw a picture how people are like, the chapati nowadays are tasting even much different from before. So there's that element of how do we ensure that actually the chapatis we consume, because that's really a big contribution to the food we take in the chapatis. Stalls everywhere. What are some of the practical things to ensure that actually the chapatis we consume from these stalls are safe for me and my family to take?
So, as I come to answer that, for a food handler to be certified to handle food or prepare food for the public, there is a checklist of items that they need to fulfill.
Okay.
Issues around availability of clean and wholesome water, issues around how the refuse is going to be managed, issues around measures in place to minimize risk. However, you'll notice that those are not in place. So this has been left to you and I. This has been left to everyone to collectively come and find a way forward. And a practical way forward is for us to ensure that food handlers are regulated and given a supportive environment, because of course they also contribute to livelihoods in their homes. Yeah. So how do we regulate them? How do we ensure that this information on good hygiene practices reaches them? Issues of awareness creation are very, very pertinent to them.
Wow. We've really emphasized so much on the ready-to-eat food from our farms. But there is a big portion of food that actually is processed. You know, every time I move around, when I'm watching TV or listening to radio, there are more than 500 drinks that are out in the shops, in the market for Ugandans to consume. What is your take? What is the qualified drink for me, a processed drink for me and my family? What should I be looking out for? What food is safe for me? What drink is safe for me and my family? To the viewer that is listening right now and watching us tonight.
Thank you, Joseph, for raising that important point. I must say that factories or industries that are producing food or processing foods have to work within an established framework. And this framework is given to them by the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. So one of the things that we look out for is whether these products are certified by the authority in the country, which is the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. So what it does, they usually take samples of these drinks and do tests to them to look out for whether they are microbes or agents that bring about food contamination. And once they pass this, they are allowed to carry on. Additionally, also within the structure, we have what we call health inspectors. Okay. These competent authority who are mandated to go and visit these factories and industries and see that they are following standard operating procedures when it comes to producing the drinks that we consume.
In other words, for the consumer out there, when it comes to processed foods, we are at the mercy of the law and the law enforcers. As an individual, there is so little I can do to determine which drink to take and not to take.
Additionally, I may not say that entirely. So when you go to the supermarkets or the shops to buy the drinks, we should also look out for the shelf life. There are expiry dates that are indicated in there. We should look out for the way the foods are stored, because storage would also compromise the quality. A product may have left the factory in a wholesome way, but the way it is handled would compromise its quality.
Okay.
Yes.
Food is very, very crucial. We will be breaking off for a minute and we'll be back. Thank you very much.
Show profiles Uganda's healthcare sector on the Doctalk Show today.
Like a first car on a mission, the Uganda National Health Laboratory Services is on a mission to provide accurate, reliable, and dependable diagnosis to disease prevention, management, and control. As the experts explain in the following exposé.
I'm called Viola Kasone. I'm a lab technologist here.
I'm Anthony Chimba. I work at UNHLS, Stroke Central Public Health Laboratory based in Butabi, Kaluzira, lab technologist.
So where you are here is the hepatitis B lab. And in this lab, we basically run samples that come in from all over the country for hepatitis B viral load testing and hepatitis C testing.
Viral load services is one of the services we offer to our community and the entire country. We use a number of machines to do that and quantify the amount of virus in this person who is on treatment.
The machine where I'm standing right here, it's called the Cobas. It's a Roche platform. It's called the Cobas E411, and we basically use it to run hepatitis samples and hepatitis. It's an ELISA machine, so it helps us quantify the virus level in someone's sample. So it's a machine we normally use for study samples and not on a daily routine. Basically do the viral load testing for all the patients that test positive for hepatitis B.
On top of viral load, these machines or platforms can also do COVID testing. They also do hepatitis B testing. We also use them to do different validations of different machines or different diagnostics.
For patients that test positive for hepatitis C.
Then also, these machines, we have 11 Abbott platform machines, Abbott platforms, and 2 Cobas machines. These are the ones that we use mainly. The Abbott machines can output, both Abbott and Cobas 8800 can output 140,000 tests in a month.
Cobas AmpliPrep and TACMan, the fully automated extraction and amplification of the virus. So the machine can help us tell how much of the virus is in your body, such that the decision to treat or monitoring can be made at your facility. So in this lab, we receive about 2,000 samples in a month, and we are able to give back the results in a period of 4 days, and the clinician is able to see them and manage their patients.
In a day, one Cobas machine can give us 3,000 results, and then an Abbott machine can give us close to 200 results. That is if we work 24 hours, and which is the case here. The lab runs 24 hours. The same platforms are used to test COVID-19. They are also used to test hepatitis B, to do hepatitis B viral load.
So this platform here, we are currently using it to test for COVID-19, but it can also do HPV. We actually run HPV testing here, and as well TB. But the main sample that is running currently is the COVID-19. The same machine can also do hepatitis B and hepatitis C and EID and several others, depending on what you want to use it for. That we call multiplexing. So we want to put as many samples as we can, so we can maximize it to full capacity. So we have 3 units, 3 GeneXpert units, in 40 minutes can give you a result of a patient. So it makes the turnaround time really small for a particular patient.
You are watching the Doctalk Show